It's Friday, May 5th, 2023, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives intentionally overstated the duties of dozens of employees, labeling them as law enforcement agents so it could pay them more money. Stephen Dinan reports investigators said ATF has been making overpayments since at least 2003. They identified more than 100 jobs in human resources and other administrative areas that were misclassified as criminal investigators. ATF officials disputed the exact numbers, but admitted to the overall nature of the scam. Officials said they're trying to clean it up by reassigning some employees while cutting the pay of others. Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares is criticizing Attorney General Merrick Garland for not doing enough to protect Supreme Court justices. Miyares told our Alex Sawyer that Virginia State Police are deploying a heavy presence of visible and not visible officers at the Virginia homes of Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Amy Coney Barrett to ensure their safety. Garland said in March that he wasn't aware of guidelines given to the U.S. Marshals Service to avoid arresting protesters outside the homes of justices. Although a federal law calls for prosecuting anyone who attempts to intimidate a judge, Miyares said the Justice Department has been looking the other way. Interior Secretary Deb Holland is being dogged by ethics questions stemming from her daughter's activism against oil and gas leasing in New Mexico. Valerie Richardson reports Soa Holland works as a media organizer for the Pueblo Action Alliance, a New Mexico environmental group helping spearhead a campaign to block oil and gas drilling in the Chaco Canyon area, including allotments owned by Navajo members. The Western Energy Alliance says the younger Holland has aggressively lobbied DOI and Congress to advance the Chaco withdrawal and cited a double standard. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find the entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. The coronation service for Britain's King Charles, taking place at London's Westminster Abbey Saturday, will both echo and depart from the ceremony Charles's mother, the late Queen Elizabeth, underwent 70 years ago. Mark Kellner reports for the first time the ceremony will include portions spoken in 3 languages associated with the British Isles: Welsh, Scottish Gaelic, and Irish Gaelic. With a vast worldwide audience expected to tune in to watch, the service will also be shorter than the last coronation in 1953, at approximately a little more than an hour. The guest list has been trimmed as well. About 2,000 people have been invited to attend the Abbey ceremony, in contrast to the last coronation, which had more than 8,000 guests. And finally, we wrap up with 2 stories in foreign policy. First, Andrew Salmon recaps a peace in the Indo-Pacific Forum in South Korea. Forum participants agreed that China stands out as either a potential brake on North Korean aggression or as an accelerant in the clash with the U.S. and its allies over Taiwan and the South China Sea. Also at the forum, National Security Team leader Guy Taylor talked with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who says the U.S. should view China and North Korea as part and parcel of a single entity and think about their nuclear programs as being related. The Washington Times and the Universal Peace Federation, which organized the forum, share the same founders. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.